What is up, budgeting family and friends? My name is Sharia. This is the Sharia Mag channel where I am documenting my six-figure debt-free journey as an entrepreneurial licensed clinical social worker with a virtual private practice, also working part-time. We are a family of 7. It is my husband and I with a combined income of about $115,000 annually. And we have 5 children, 2 adult children, 2 seniors in high school, and a 5th grader. And I am tracking my six-figure debt-free journey with monthly and weekly budgets, as well as monthly debt updates. And I also share my business income at the end of every month as well, because entrepreneurship is part of my debt-free journey. And if that is something you are interested in, please be sure to subscribe should you want to follow along my journey. The anticipated time of my journey, we have a goal to be debt-free 5 years or before. Ideally, we would like for it to be 3. The stretch goal is 5. And again, we are documenting the entire journey with you guys here. Today's video is my January week 1 budget, and we will get right into it. All right, so we have my budget template up. If this budget template looks different than what you are used to, I encourage you to go back and watch this video over here, which is my 2024 budget template setup, and it explains how I ended up on this template as opposed to the other one. But anyway, we will get right into our January week 1 budget. If you are new here, I do budget from week to week. My husband is paid every Thursday, and I have recently changed my pay periods to reflect his, and so I pay myself every Friday. So, because I am recording this later, this budget has already been closed out, but this is how I record and share my monthly and weekly budgets. And so we are here with the weekly budget as well as the closeout of the weekly budget. So this budget is from December 28th, 2023 to January 3rd, 2024. They go from the Thursday to Wednesday, as my husband gets paid on Thursdays and I get paid on Friday. So the planned income for this pay period was $2,500. I still don't quite know what the income saved is, but the income that was spent during this time was $2,193.69, and the debt that was paid during this pay period was the $45.57. The actual income for this pay period was $3,357.92. The income that we saved was $240, and I'm wondering if this is what was left to be budgeted. Let's see. Left to budget. No, because that's in the negative. So I'm not sure what the income saved is. I don't know. The income that was actually spent was $1,400.09 and $1,409.41, and the debt paid for this pay period was $318.05. The income planned. Oh, you know what? This is the budgeted versus the actual, which I typically do at the end of the video. So I'll cut this part out. So going into the income, we had planned income of $800 for my husband, and his actual income was $1,291.44 after having about 16 hours of overtime. My income was $900, and the actual was $913.42. We had rental income of $850, and that is actually what we received. And then I had a side hustle of $303.06. This included doing my aunt's hair. She paid me $50. And then I did a few assessments for a friend of mine who was opening her own mental health agency, and I got $250 from that, and she just paid me. She cashed out me that. So I had $303 total and 6 cents, which brought my actual income to our actual income for this week to $3,357.92. Our savings for this pay period was $50 to my high yield savings account, $50 to my husband's savings account, $80 towards Christmas, $10 to my son's education fund, $50 to my daughter's education fund, and we did actually save $300 on our property, which must not have been logged, or either it was logged for December, which is not reflecting on. All right, so then we go over to bills, and bills for this pay period was Wells Fargo home mortgage, which is paid in weekly installments at $275.12, and what actually came out was $275.13. Farm Bureau was $133.26, and $133.26 came out. This is Apple Storage was not due. And then Cricket Wireless was not due. And Geico was planned at $522.11. What actually came out was $525.35. And then the child support was $100, and that did come out. We go over to expenses, and groceries was planned at $150. We actually spent $25.60. I don't know how. I think we just did a lot of shopping from home. The thing is, I think I shared in a previous video, both of us, my husband and I'm not going to make it all his fault. More so my husband, though. My husband will open the refrigerator and see that the refrigerator is bare and feel like we don't have groceries. I will open the refrigerator and see that we have everything we need and realize we don't need groceries. So when you see weeks where we haven't spent our full grocery budget, it is typically because I was able to shop from home and make meals based off stuff that we used to just go into the grocery store and purchase as fillers. So while they may not be balanced meals, like if we have peanut butter and Ritz crackers, then we are having peanut butter crackers and chips, or peanut butter crackers and apples for dinner. Especially if it's just my son and I, because my husband is working late, or well, that's usually it. When it's just my son and I, my youngest son, my 5th grader, and I, because my oldest son is working and my husband is working, then that is what we'll eat. And then I will save some leftovers, or my husband, like I'll make him some crab cakes and things like that. So that is typically what has happened, because before we got on a budget and on a debt-free journey, we would just go into the grocery store and buy a whole bunch of filler type items so our refrigerator looked full. That's not necessarily my mindset going forward. Like, I just need the things that I know I'm going to cook. My mother has been really big on like not wasting money and not wasting food. Call it a trauma. I don't feel traumatized by it, because I definitely feel like I can go to the grocery store and buy whatever I wanted. And there were times where my mother would buy, things, incorporate new items into our diet, but I never felt deprived. And there was never a time where I was like, oh, Mom, can we get this cereal? And she was like, do you got, the typical Black mom or mom response. So I just think it makes more sense now to only buy the things that we know we're going to eat, because we're not big junk food eaters. And I'm not a cereal eater because of my autoimmune disease. A lot of the cereals scrape the roof of my mouth and it leaves it blistered. So I'm not a big cereal eater. So, and we're not soda drinkers. So I don't know. I mean, it just saves us a lot of money on our groceries. Gas, we budgeted $120 and we spent $125.48. Beauty maintenance, I budgeted $25. I didn't spend anything, and really that $25 should have went towards that. I feel like that's exactly what I want to start doing, is going back through our budget at the closeout and taking the funds that the planned allotments that haven't been spent and putting them towards debt. The boys' hair was budgeted at $100 and we actually spent $50. Toiletries was budgeted at $50 and we spent $18.13. Household was budgeted at $50 and we spent $28.02. Fast food was budgeted at $50 and we spent $81.94. Date night, we didn't have anything in the budget and we spent $34.78. I didn't give myself or my husband any spend money, and miscellaneous was budgeted at $80 and we spent $11.72. For debt, the only debt that was due, only credit card payment that was due was Barclays Carnival card at $45.57, and I actually paid that. Then I had a balance on my Platinum American Express at $272.48, and we paid that. Honda Financial is due. We paid $250 weekly, and we paid that. The HELOC was at $288. Okay, so we did do that. We did make both of those payments. So debt was planned at $583.77, and we actually put $856.25 for this week towards debt, and that is including the $272 American Express payment. So when we go over to the budgeted versus the actual, we did not have we did have a rollover, but I didn't want to bring the rollover from 2023 into 2024 because this is technically 2024's budget template. Although the pay period for the first week in January does start in December. The income was planned at $2,500. The actual was $3,357.92. The income saved, I assume, was $550. The actual was $540. And I'm going to try and figure out what exactly the income saved is. The income spent was $1,655.49. And the actual was $1,409.41. I wonder how they get that number. I wonder if it's the combination of total versus expenses. The debt payoff was planned at $583.77, and we actually paid $856.25. And planned, we had a negative $289.26 balance, but the actual that was left over was $552.26. And we, I think, just rolled that over. So, we go down here to the spending chart. I don't know what this is, to be honest, but we go over here to the spending chart and the spending breakdown, and you see 17.2% was spent on, I don't know. When we go over to debt, I'm assuming that these numbers add up to the colors. So 9.8% of my income went towards debt. 9.4% of my income went towards expenses. 9.0% went towards bills. 8.9% went towards savings. That's good to see. I don't know what this white category is. Yeah, I don't know what that is. And then down here, oh, we'll see, it even has it in the spending breakdown here. Okay, so debt, if we go to debt, because that's really where I'm concerned. Oh, this is just spending. So debt is not necessarily up here. It's the debt category. So my Platinum American Express was 8.92% of my income. Honda Financial, because I did pay that twice, it was actually an accident, but I went in to make the payment and I made the payment, so zero was left. So I don't know if I was moving fast, first of all. And so when I hit the back button, I think what I must have done was hit the back button and saw that now the payment was 0. So I went in and made another one and I applied it to the principal. So, but it didn't hurt us any, but it definitely could have went towards a credit card payment. And then when you go down here, the transactions that I enter on the log screen actually translate over. And so it really helps me to see like what I spent my money on. Like on my husband's paycheck, I did put that this was 15 hours of overtime. And then I always put where we ate at when it's fast food. Or like the miscellaneous, that was hair products. I like to do that. Anytime I get a side hustle payment, I will, try and put that. Anytime we spend groceries outside of our grocery budget, I like to say specifically what we spent it on, because maybe it needs to be another category, or maybe we need to include, if I see a pattern of buying the same type of thing outside of our grocery budget, then I need to increase our grocery budget. And then again, fast food, we went to Texas Roadhouse. And then anytime we go over our gas budget, again, I like to list, why did we go over? What was that transaction that put us over? So this is the log of the spending we did from the 28th to the 3rd, December 28th to January the 3rd. And that is it for my January week 1 budget. So, I did share with you guys that I like this template. I think based on the motivation I have at this moment, because I shared in one video, I don't know if it was my 2024 or if it was my budget template video, I have a pattern of being very motivated up front and then losing all motivation at the end. And so I'm trying to set up habits that, because motivation will come and go, but discipline will breed success. So I've developed the habit of reviewing this template every single day, logging our transactions based on my checking account. And so I'm hoping that by the time that I lose the motivation, that the motivation dissipates. I have such discipline to still look at this template every single day to get out of debt. I feel like right now it's taken so long to get out of the credit card debt that by the time we do, I feel like at that point I'm gonna feel so happy but so burned out from paying debt that I feel like I will lose motivation. But I mean, I'm trying. So that is it for my budget week 1. Thank you so very much for watching. If you have watched thus far, what budgeting technique has been effective for you? And have there been moments where you have lost motivation? And if so, what did you do? I did talk about how I found my dream home recently. I'm gonna see if I can insert a picture over here. And I plan on blowing that up and putting it on my vision board, with like that taking up half of the board, and then having like my 2024 goals on the other half. I don't like to overwhelm myself with a laundry list full of things, and I'm already working on several things. I'm in a coaching program, a mentorship program to develop a coaching program to increase my income. I'm in the middle of hiring a team. I'm cleaning up my personal finances. I'm cleaning up my business finances. I'm learning 2 languages. I'm trying to get rid of things that no longer serve me. So it's just a whole bunch of things. And I'm on top of still trying to be a great mother to my kids, and a great wife to my husband, and a great person to myself. So with all of those things already going on and being my focus, I just feel like if I add one more thing, it's going to be the straw that breaks my back. But I want to stay motivated to do all of those things. So I'm really trying to figure out what that looks like for me. Anyway, I've gone off on enough of a tangent. If you have watched thus far, thank you so very much. If you have not already subscribed and you are interested, or you are on a 6-figure journey, even if it's not 6 figures, but you are motivated and inspired by my journey, make sure you click the follow button and join the S. McCullough, Sharia Mac squad. And, you know, let's hold each other accountable. So that is it for today's video. I will catch you guys in January week 2's budget to follow. Bye for now.